Hey everyone, AMR back again with another Underdog Best Ball Draft. So currently waiting on 3 more people to join this. If you haven't seen the first edition of this, I strongly recommend you go ahead and check that out on the channel. I have it in the playlist, I believe, mock drafts. This isn't necessarily a mock draft, if you will, but this is more of a real draft. For those of you that don't know, Best Ball is one of those things where you just kind of like get a bunch of people that you think are going to do very good on the season, and then week by week, the app chooses the best possible lineup based on your people that you have on your team. So there's no longer any type of burden put on the person to go in and like actually say, okay, who actually has the best matchup, and then whatever I play that week is just what is. So we don't really have that problem anymore. But I think that we want to go ahead. We're waiting on one person now. I think I'm going to go ahead and start adding some people to the queue. So Jonathan Taylor is a must. I already have Christian McCaffrey on my other one. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Eckler, Derrick Henry. Cooper Kupp is one of those ones that I'm a little iffy on. I don't necessarily know if I believe in the talent there. We are drafting pick position 0. Okay, so I'm actually number 7. 7's going to be a bit tricky. This could be a Travis Kelce pick here. CeeDee Lamb has been pretty good. Mark Andrews, Mike Evans, Debo. Who else? Tyreek Hill. I don't think I'm going to go with T. Higgins. AJ Brown's all right. Nick Chubb's good. Keenan Allen's fantastic. Josh Allen. I don't know if I want to go for a Kyle Pitts. James Conner's fantastic as well. He could have a lot of big boom weeks, which definitely need. Deontay Johnson's going to be interesting. Justin Herbert is probably going to be my quarterback if I had my way of virtue going off here. I'm going to go ahead and take... so there's a lot of names down here on the end of the board. I think that that's enough for our queue, at least to start off here. The draft is going to be starting in 1 second. Jonathan Taylor is probably going to be the first one off the board. But yeah, go ahead, sit back, enjoy the draft here. With a name like Cooper Prices, I think you have to take Cooper Kupp first overall. Probably doesn't even realize that he is drafting right now, and he probably will just get the... Oh, no, he actually gets Jonathan Taylor first off the board there. Do you take Christian McCaffrey here? That's the question for Davis. Be interesting. I don't think I could do it. Christian McCaffrey's pretty tough. Cooper Kupp, pretty good. The problem with Cooper Kupp is even on his best weeks, he pretty much is like capped to a score of like 25, 26. I don't really see him doing much better. Justin Jefferson, I could see definitely having the 30-plus type weeks. Plays on a team where he is the number 1 wide receiver. There's not a lot of depth at the position outside of maybe Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne. So definitely a good choice there. Probably would have picked him over Cooper Kupp. Got Jamar Chase coming off the board. And it looks like a lot of wide receivers are taking precedent here. So now what do we do? Do we take Travis Kelce? I think I could take Travis Kelce here. And I think I'm going to. Taking Travis Kelce at number 7. I don't know what his average draft position is. Looks like his ADP is 11.3. So he's typically going right before the turn. I think that that's pretty understandable. Travis Kelce is one of those guys that could really explode on the season, and you definitely don't want to wait around for that type of a player. If it comes back around to me, I think I have to. I mean, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent on this board. Josh Allen is super interesting of a pick to me. Josh Allen might be the guy. As long as he's there still. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be. We still have 5 picks to go. It seems like a lot of people are picking running backs to start out, so I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that. Running backs in a best ball don't make a ton of sense. Typically, you want to go with a bunch of wide receivers, given that wide receivers have the most volatile position. So, curious to see what you guys think in the comments down below. But I personally will be beefing up my receiving core before I even touch running backs. Running backs are one of those positions where on their best weeks, sure, they have like 20, 25 points, but I don't really care too much about them. I care about receiving options for a best ball. If you have 6 wide receivers, there's a pretty high chance that 3 of them are going to do pretty good that week. It'd be really unfortunate to have all those positions and to really have no one pop off. Doesn't make a ton of sense. So looking here, we are 3 picks away. I mean, Josh Allen sounds like a reasonable pick here. We are currently on the 15th overall. Josh Allen has an ADP of 28.9. I don't think that he makes it back around to me after this pick. So I could go with Josh Allen. I could go with Mike Evans. Mike Evans sounds pretty good. I could go with Deebo Samuel. What is Deebo projected for? 248. Tyreek Hills. Okay, I'm going to go with Deebo. Deebo sounds really good. When he has explosive weeks, being in that hybrid position, he really does not disappoint. So I think that makes a ton of sense. Keenan Allen would also be another really good guy to have. He'll probably not make it around to me either. So here's the problem. Josh Allen's great, but Patrick Mahomes is just as good, and he's going 11 picks after. And Justin Herbert is fantastic as well, and he's going almost 20 after. So I don't think that we have to go ahead and pick Josh Allen. As much as I want to, I just can't get my mind around the fact of like justifying that decision. So I think I'll probably end up passing on Josh Allen, even though I really, really want to take him. It just doesn't make any sense. We also have to keep in mind our bye weeks. So if you've seen the first episode of this, bye weeks play a huge role into whether or not that you can continue to oh man, Keenan Allen gets off the board there. I mean, I'll for sure take a Tyreek Hill here. Tyreek Hill would be very interesting. I mean, is Josh Allen's off the board now, so we know the quarterback's probably not going to be taken here by Davis. You could see a streak of quarterbacks. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm probably going to end up taking, if AJ Brown comes off the board, don't really care about that. I didn't really have too much interest in him. But based on the queue that I have lined up here, if I don't want James Conner, he just doesn't make any sense there. You got Courtland Sutton, and you have Deontay Johnson. And then you have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. So this is interesting. This is interesting because I don't pick again for a while. Definitely, it's going to be a while before I pick again. So I need to be mindful of that. And Mike Williams comes off the board. I think I am going to take a Courtland Sutton. Makes a lot of sense. Maybe I take Deontay Johnson instead. Both of which have week 9 buys. You have Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert. That's going to be a tough week for me. Justin Herbert's projected for that. I think I'm going to take Deontay Johnson on just the fact that he is a PPR machine. Kind of just sitting here and waiting to see what ends up happening. Right now, a lot of my bye weeks are lining up to have like a pretty tough go here. So I need to be mindful of that as well. Courtland Sutton is still on the board though. Courtland Sutton has a week 9 bye as well. And so Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, a lot of these big scoring type of people are all on the same team. Really kind of sucks because I would love to get a piece of that pie, but I'm not going to force it by any means. Okay, sorry about that. My phone kind of vibrated there. DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper. There's a ton of talent still at the wide receiver position. Okay, so here's my thought. I'm 5 picks away. If Courtland Sutton's available, I'll take Courtland Sutton. Pretty good chance that Patrick Mahomes goes. He's going average ADP at 39.5. I don't think that he's going to make it to me. I'm currently sitting at the 42 position. Justin Herbert should be available. I have a very strong feeling that Courtland Sutton's also going to be gone. At which point I will be very comfortable taking a Justin Herbert. Makes a ton of sense. The only problem is that he might end up going now that Mahomes has gone. We're only 4 picks away, and no one in front of me has a quarterback. So definitely a little worried. I don't see him making it back to me. I could be okay with getting a Jalen Waddle. It's definitely not like my first read by any means. Cortland Sutton goes off the board. Jalen Waddle goes off the board. Please don't take Justin Herbert. Anybody but him. So now we're going to go ahead and take Justin Herbert. Makes a ton of sense there. Scary Terry still on the board here. Looking over, you got Amari Cooper, Gabriel Davis. Gabriel Davis is interesting. I like him a lot. I don't know if he's going to be great or anything, but he's definitely good. Do I have Mike Evans? I don't have Mike Evans, so I'd be okay with getting a Chris Godwin. I like Josh Jacobs. I like Antonio Gibson. Elijah Moore is interesting to me. I could get behind a Joe Burrow, but definitely he's just going a little high for me. So I don't know if I could get behind that. Deandre Hopkins is a huge person that of interest for me. You got Miles Sanders. Hunter Renfrow, I don't have the confidence in him returning to his former self. It's just, there's too much going on there. Cordero Patterson's fantastic. Darius Toney's interesting. Kareem Hunt's okay. Dawson Knox. Scrolling past a lot of these bigger name here, I'd take a Zach Ertz for sure. We're still 8 picks away, so trying to build up this inventory before all goes to shit. Got Tim Patrick, Jarvis Landry, got Mike Gesicki. I could mess around with a Devontae Parker. He's probably going to end up going before I get to him, though. Way down, obviously. I'm not going to take him anywhere near this. Joshua Palmer, James Robinson's interesting because you don't really know what that's going to be like down there. Gus Edwards would be fine as well. We're 6 picks away. Team is looking pretty great, not going to lie. Gabriel Davis is the number 1 pick on our board for right now. Being number 7 is really kind of a tough position. We are doing fairly well. So we are into the 5th round here. And projected, I think that there's 18 rounds. And so that would be a projection of over 3,000, be about 3,100. If you go ahead and extrapolate that, obviously it won't be that high because as you get deeper into the draft, then the player projections go a little bit lower each time. I think this is where we take our first running back. The only problem is like I'm going to be really hurting in week 9. So is there enough talent at the running back position left to be able to suffice in those weeks without those talented guys? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and just look at the wide receivers that remain. Scroll all the way up here. Deandre Hopkins. Deandre Hopkins is still on this list. He poses a lot of interest to me. I could take a Juju and then just see what he does. Rashad Bateman's still there. I projected for 112, 119, 143 for Darnell Mooney. I think I'm going to take Elijah Moore. I agree with the scheme over in the Jets. He is a established talent in that system. So I think that he is going to be fantastic. I could definitely see myself taking DeAndre Hopkins next up. I don't know if Michael Thomas is going to have a good season. He's projected for 182.9. That's tough. That's pretty tough. I don't know if he's going to be able to get that high. We are 6 picks away. Michael Thomas has a bye week on week 14. Oh, man. So the problem with taking... The problem with taking Michael Thomas is you don't really know what you're getting there in New Orleans. Like you don't have Sean Payton play calling anymore. You no longer have Drew Brees passing to him, and that's how a lot of his points are established. Like he gets a ton of points just from all of the pass attempts that get shot his way and stuff. And that's a tough call. I don't know. Joe Burrow still being on this board is interesting. Jalen Hurts is going before Joe Burrow. Are you kidding me? There's just too much talent left at the quarterback position to really give a shit. I really have no interest. I'd be fine getting a Matt Ryan in there as well. He's more of a safe option. I don't know if he's going to be good or bad. I don't know. I could probably get behind taking an Antonio Gibson. 203. I think I got to take Antonio Gibson here, get my first running back on the board. Dalton Schultz is interesting. He has the other bye week. And then there's like a pretty steep drop off. I think I want to take DeAndre Hopkins if he's still available. Hunter Henry's totally fine as well at the tight end position. As far as quarterbacks go, if Joe Burrow comes off this board by the time it comes back to me again, I really don't see myself taking... I don't really see myself taking Joe Burrow regardless. So keep that in mind as well. Got Dalton Schultz coming off, so it makes my decision pretty easy as to whether or not I wanted to go with a tight end. I feel like Zach Ertz is going to be around for a while. He's projected for 40 picks after where we currently are, so plenty of time there. Rashad Penny is an established talent over in Seattle. Finished out the year super strong. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not he can stay healthy. That is the major concern here. DeAndre Hopkins, if he gets to me, that'd be fantastic, but he is projected to go 3 picks before he comes back to me. You got Adam Thielen coming off the board. You got Treylon Burks as well over in Tennessee. That's an interesting pick. He's just not there yet. I think that Drake London goes. You see Amon-Ra St. Brown go. DeAndre Hopkins, unfortunately, I think that he's going to end up leaving as well. He would be a very strong person to have on the back half of the season, given the fact that he is gone for the first 6 weeks. I don't know what you guys have. I don't know how you guys feel about the whole situation that's going on with DeAndre Hopkins and the PEDs and stuff. He's injured. So you're going to have guys who are trying to get back onto the field. And I don't necessarily think that performance-enhancing drugs are a bad thing, especially in the off season when these guys are trying to get better, like healthy. I mean, not get better as in like more talented. He's literally just trying to get healthy again so he can start training, get back on the field, and start being that player that we all know. So it's a tough situation for me personally, and I'm kind of torn because obviously PEDs are you never really want to have a player messing around with that type of a realm. But all things being considered here, it's just, I don't know. I feel bad for him because it's not like he's the first person to ever have that happen to him. I'm for sure taking DeAndre Hopkins here. I did not think that he'd fall to me. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. And if Joe Burrow is to us again in the next round, 10 picks away, highly unlikely. But if he's still there, I have to take Joe Burrow, and there he goes. It just made a ton of sense. I can't take Cordell Patterson, given that Antonio Gibson has a bye week in week 14. I could take a Rashad Penny. I could get around that. I think I have to look at the running backs. You got Tony Pollard, projected for 115, 100 there. Damian Harris at 151. I could take a Damian Harris. And I could take a Kareem Hunt. Devin Singletary, he had so much promise at the end of last season. I need to start attacking. I need to really start attacking these running backs because I'm very thin at the position right now. I've done a pretty good job at beefing up my wide receiving room. So I feel confident on that front, and I feel less confident from a perspective of my running back room. I just have to make a decision here. You actually see Goddard go. Interesting. Didn't really think that he would go that soon. Cordero Patterson's one of those guys that, I mean, do I take him? I think I got to take Cordero Patterson here. I know that he's going to be having a bye week that shares with Antonio Gibson, but we're getting the first 13 weeks of the season having a guy who is not only a pass catching running back, but also a guy who is dominant on the ground himself. So I'm okay. The only problem is that week 14 is that last week of the first round. All things being considered, though, I feel like if we do what we're supposed to in the beginning half of the season, having two running backs on a bye week in week 14 probably isn't going to be the worst thing in the world. I don't know. So you got Gus Edwards at 105, Devin Singletary at 154. So Devin Singletary's interesting. Rashad Penny is awesome. I think that he's on a team that is going to really struggle to put things together, though. I could see Zach Ertz being good. I just have Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is going to be dominant. I think it's a wasted pick if I take another tight end, because the likelihood of one of these tight ends outperforming Travis Kelce of any type of note, pretty slim to none. You could see a Jamison Williams. You could make a lot of sense in that front. Rashad Penny was a difference maker late in the season last season, so I think that Rashad Penny has to be our running back one here. Devin Singletary's great because he plays for a good team. I just don't know if he is what we need to be targeting here. Bunch of guys queued up. Chris Olave is another interesting pick. He has a week 10 bye. No, he has a week 14 bye. So Chris Olave could be interesting. Jamison Williams, it's tough. Jamison Williams is one of those guys where he hasn't really played an NFL snap yet, so you don't know what you're getting, and that scares the shit out of me, so I'm probably going to steer clear of it. I think I am going to take Rashad Penny if he is available, and then I could easily take a Hunter Henry in the following rounds way later in the draft. Chris Olave goes, and we're on the board now, so I'm going to take Rashad Penny. You still have Zach Ertz here. Zach Ertz could be good because Kelce has a week 8 bye. Zach Ertz is projected to go before it comes back to us, so I don't know if we're going to get to him. You have Jamison Williams. You got Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds could be interesting down there. Melvin Gordon still on the board. Got James Cook only projected for 44.5. Alexander Madison. Any other running backs of note? Michael Carter's projected for 166.8. I don't know about all that, given the fact that he's going to be sharing a backfield. So, don't know there. Jamal Williams, J.D. McKissick, both of those guys are fantastic. I don't know. Christian Watson, he's just not going to do anything in year one. Aaron Rodgers has a what do you want to call it? He has a history with first-year wide receivers not really doing anything in the system, so I don't necessarily believe in the talent there. Derek Carr ends up going right there. Deshaun Watson, I could go ahead and star him. I could star at Justin Fields, even though I don't feel great about that one. You have a Matt Ryan, which I could totally understand taking, especially later down here. I could see a Mac Jones as well. Carson Wentz, Davis Mills. Davis Mills is a really sneaky pick down at the bottom. He actually performed very well last season, way better than I think any of us would have given him credit for. And scrolling back up here, looking at other tight ends, Gronk is still on this list, even though he's retired. He's not retired, but he's just a free agent. Gesicki's all the way down here at 131. I find that absolutely baffling. And then you got Pat Freiermuth as well. I don't think I can take Pat Freiermuth given that we have Deontay Johnson. It just doesn't make any sense to take two of those guys. Let me do a quick check here. This is Patriots. Patriots play the Jets in week 8, so that'll be the week that Travis Kelce ends up missing. On our board here, we do have Hunter Henry. We have Gus Edwards. We have a Chase Edmonds if we want to go that route. Gus Edwards. I think I'm gonna take Chase Edmonds here. He is the he is the running back 1 down there in Miami. And that gives us plenty of depth at the position. We do have 2 running backs that share bye weeks on both fronts. So not a ton of versatility there, but I think this is where we start to just like hyper target the wide receivers. Tim Patrick's a good receiver. I think that Devontae Parker is probably going to be better. So if Devontae Parker is still available when it comes back to us in 9 picks, which I totally do not see happening, we will for sure be taking him. Damian Pierce is still available, projected for 49.7. I think that's a little low for him. Alexander Madison is an interesting pick because he's a backup for Dalvin Cook, who has a history of getting hurt. So I don't necessarily think that that's a bad idea. Isaiah Spiller, look at the Chargers depth chart. Okay, at running back, Isaiah Spiller is the running back 2. So I could end up taking Isaiah Spiller way later down in the draft. Ramondre Stevenson, Pat Freiermuth end up going. Like I said, you still have Gesicki down here. So, and you have Hunter Henry. So I'm not too concerned still. There's plenty of options left at the tight end position. Jamison Crowder's projected for 70.7. I think that's a little high. I don't see him getting that good. You do have Isaiah Spiller. I'm going to go ahead and add to our list. DJ Chark is interesting. I don't know if he's going to be good or not. He's on a new team now, of course. James Robinson's a fantastic pickup, way late. He's projected to go pick 163. Okay, bolsters Patriots wide receiver corps. Okay. Still, yep. I mean, I would say a lot of people are beefing up at the running back and quarterback position. This guy still has yet to pick a quarterback. So quarterback is definitely going to be his weak point. He's probably going to be targeting a tight end here if I had to guess. I'd be super surprised if he takes another wide receiver or running back. I like our distribution though. He ends up taking Gesicki. Makes a lot of sense. I'm going to take Devontae Parker here. Not that I think that he's going to be a huge impact on our team. I think that he just adds that depth at the position. We're going to be hurting until Deandre Hopkins come back in week 6 or week 7 actually. So you just got to make sure that you are beefing up that wide receiver room. I think I want to take Deshaun Watson as our next pick. Sounds crazy, I know, but Deshaun Watson's one of those guys that he could have some pretty big weeks ahead of him, and you don't necessarily want to miss out on that. So he's a mobile quarterback who likes to air it out. Is he going to be playing? I don't know. So not a whole lot to be read into there. We do have Justin Herbert and Deshaun Watson's week 9. Who else is week 9 on our team? Looks like Deontay Johnson and Debo. Ooh. So that's going to be a tough week for us. I think that we might have to target another wide receiver here. McCole Hardman's okay. It's projected for 87.5. Ben Jefferson at 115. Seems kind of high. DJ Chark at 107. Tolbert. KJ Osborne's interesting to me. Curtis Samuel. Donovan Peoples-Jones. OBJ's for 185.3. Okay. I don't see it, but it's fine. Got Gus Edwards, JD McKissick, James Robinson still down there on the bottom half of the board. Ooh. I think I take Deshaun Watson here, add a little bit of depth at the quarterback position. I don't necessarily see him outperforming Justin Herbert on a week-to-week basis, but I am pretty excited at the fact of having just another quarterback option there. We do have 5 more picks. We have 5 more picks here. If we can average over 100 points per position, we will get over that 3,000 mark, which is exactly what you want when you're doing a best ball. I think I am going to take Hunter Henry if he's still available. I think he's the best option at the tight end position, and he does not share the same bye week as Travis Kelce. Once we take Hunter Henry, I'll probably end up taking James Robinson at the running back position to see if he's still available then. We are still 9 picks away, so pretty high chance that we don't even get to see James Robinson available, or Hunter Henry for that matter. This guy right here, Matt Liv, he doesn't even have a tight end yet, so that scares me quite a bit. The guy in front, the guy behind him has 2, 2, and 1. So really this Matt Liv guy is the biggest threat to taking Hunter Henry. Irv Smith comes off, so this guy's really getting scared now. If I were him, I would for sure be taking... he could take Albert O. Albert O's projected for 64.5. David Njoku's projected for 107. I don't see it. He does end up taking Cole Kmet. I wouldn't have done that. As a Bears fan, I can say that because he's not good. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good. He came from Notre Dame. He was projected for a lot of talent. He just hasn't developed quite yet. He is, I think, like in his 3rd or 4th year. So tight ends typically don't mature until that 3-4 year mark anyway. So you could see a breakout year from him. I just don't see it. Justin Fields could be hyper targeting a tight end because that's what young quarterbacks do. They like to get that security blanket. I don't know, and I'm not going to be taking that risk. Albert O goes off the board here. Jamison Winston, and we got Hunter Henry on our team. If you did watch the first episode of this, you do know that Hunter Henry is on my other team as well. I think he's super talented, and he's one of those guys that could be very reliable at the position. I've heard good things about Evan Ingram in training camp. I don't really want to take another tight end, though. I could end up taking one more just on the off chance that he ends up getting hurt. DJ Chark comes off the board. That kind of sucks. I think I will take James Robinson as our next pick, though. A lot of these reaching type picks here are going to be for players that we don't necessarily know if they're going to pan out, and that's totally fine. Because if he doesn't, we're fine at the position. We have Antonio Gibson, Cordero Patterson, Rashad Penny, Chase Edmonds. We have a lot of reliability at the position. It's okay to take a reach on a player like James Robinson now. And he's projected for 121.5. So if he ends up getting on the field and performing well, especially if ETN ends up getting banged up again, then you could see James Robinson be a very impactful player here. He had 225.9 fantasy points in 2020, 158.4 in 2021, projected for 121.5. If he even got to the 100 mark, I think that'd be astronomical for what he is projected for. KJ Osborne's tough. Again, we could take an OBJ. These are a lot of players that I don't necessarily see ever making our roster because they're just streamer. They're flyer picks at this point. Sami Watkins is interesting. He's now going to be in contention for that wide receiver 2 on the Green Bay Packers, so need to keep him in mind as well. See KJ Osborne come off and Njoku come off, and I'm on the board again, so I'm going to take James Robinson. I am pretty darn close to that 3,000 mark, which is exactly what I want. If I can be between 100 and 150 from that 3,000 mark, I think that I've done a good job. So I'm okay with taking that. I think I am going to take Odell Beckham Jr. with our next pick, though. Again, not really thinking that he's going to make a huge impact to the overall projection of how we do on the team. He's just a really reliable guy later half in the season. He's a free agent right now, so we don't necessarily know if he's going to come back. I think that he did sign with the Cleveland Browns again, so I could be wrong, but believed to have torn ACL. That was 4 months ago. I don't know what to expect with him. I think that taking an Odell Beckham Jr. as a flyer pick is totally warranted. He's on a team that will be competing in that division when he is able to play again. He provides some much needed depth if we make it to round 2 of this. And then I think I want to take another quarterback after him just to give us some more depth at the position in case Deshaun Watson ends up not being able to play at all this season. And with that pick, I'd probably end up taking a Davis Mills. That's a good question. Do I take a Davis Mills or do I take a Mac Jones? I think that I think New England is going to have a tougher time moving the ball through the air than the Houston Texans. Houston Texans have a lot of younger talent on the team, and Davis Mills is a pretty young quarterback. I think he's going to air it out quite a bit. It's going to be a surprising little show for us. We still have OBJ on the board here. I like the idea of him. I mean, there's really no one else really at the wide receiver position that jumps out to me. No one that I want anyway. I think I take OBJ if he's still available. And then I dip down and take Davis Mills over a Mac Jones. I think that Mac Jones is projected for a higher output than him by a lot, actually. So maybe we take Mac Jones instead. I'm reading into a lot based on these projections. So I don't know. Davis Mills last season, or Mac Jones had 237 points. Davis Mills had 167. I'm going to take OBJ here and just kind of hope for the best. And then I'll take Mac Jones next. We do have 3 more picks. We have round 16, 17, and 18. I think our team has shaped out pretty darn good given the fact that we had to pick at number 7. Looking at the board here, the guy who is in first did not really have that great of a draft. He's really not doing all that fantastic. Number 2 looks pretty good, though. Number 2 looks good. Number 3's okay. There's a lot of question marks there. Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans. This one has a lot of potential as well. Jamar Chase, Aaron Jones. I don't know. Stephon Diggs, Nick Chubb, Mike Williams, Cam Akers, Chris Godwin. A lot of injured people and people of just having established talent. I don't know if, this guy's got a good team. Najee Harris, Devontae Adams, James Conner, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Etienne, Elijah Mitchell, TJ Hawkinson, Sky Moore, Derek Carr, Dawson Knox. Yeah, this guy's got a pretty good lineup over here on the right-hand side. This guy's pretty good as well. Yeah, he's fantastic also. Dalvin Cook, Mark Andrews, DJ Moore's so interesting, but Courtland Sutton's going to be fantastic this season. I'm calling it now. I like his lineup too. I'm going to go ahead and close that out before I get distracted and then miss my pick. I'm going to take Mac Jones here. I need another quarterback just to provide that extra depth piece at the position. It'd be insane to think that he could ever outperform Justin Herbert. But we need someone. We need someone when Justin Herbert goes on bye. And there could be a couple games in their division where he ends up being like in a favorable position. So I definitely don't want to pass him up per se. I think I could take a Marlon Mack if I wanted to. A lot of iffy guys here at the running back position, and Marlon Mack seems to be pretty safe of the options left anyway. Haskins. What is there to really pick from that list? You got Chuba Hubbard maybe. Rex Burkhead. Derek Gore's projected for 0 points. Damian Williams is... Where'd he go? I clicked on him. Is he gone? Marlon Mack. Come on, man. That was a good pick on his part because I think Marlon Mack actually does fairly well. Donta Foreman, what's the depth chart over in Carolina? Carroll depth chart. Oh, it still has Chuba Hubbard in front of Donta Foreman. That's tough. Do I take a Paris Campbell? I don't know who Justin Ross is. Got a pretty high projection, though. Laviska Shenault. Sony Michel. Dolphin depth chart. Sony Michel as the third back on that field. I don't see him do. I mean, that's a lot of week 11 buys, so I couldn't take him anyway if I wanted to. Hassan Haskins, he is the running back for Tennessee. He might be Tennessee Titans depth chart. Got Derrick Henry and Hassan Haskins, so they are a team that loves to run the football. I have plenty of options at the wide receiver position to where I'm no longer scared on that front. Belvin Jordan goes here at 195. We are 3 picks away from our pick. Donovan Peoples-Jones ends up going. What are we at? We're over the 3,000 mark, which is fantastic. My other lineup that I was in over in the other league that I was a part of, I only finished at like, I think 10 above this, and that was with 2 fewer picks. So, or 2 more picks rather. So I feel pretty confident about my ability to compete in this league. What the hell is that? Did not like that. I did not like that. Running back, Hassan Haskins, we're taking him. That really scared me. I'm not going to lie. I was like, what? And then looks like we could probably grab one more wide receiver. You could end up taking Sami Watkins. He could do fairly good on a week by week. AJ Green, no interest there. Paris Campbell. Devin Duvernay. James Washington on his new team. Laviska Shenault could be interesting. You have Zay Jones here. Byron Pringle. Good luck. T.Y. Hilton, is he still playing? I don't even think T.Y. Hilton's on a team anymore. I hate these projections, man. These projections are pretty dog shit. Sami Watkins is interesting, but so is Laviska Shenault, who ends up going right there. I think I'd take Sami Watkins and then just pray to God. Okay, so Sami Watkins is gone now too. Jay Ross, Byron Pringle, Cedric Wilson still there. Zay Jones, Jalen Guyton. Really? Got CJ Uzama, Taysom Hill, Julio. I could take a Paris Campbell. He gets injured a lot. But I doubt that he ever ends up making my lineup regardless at that point. He's just a nice little stat patter. This will be our final pick in the draft. So whatever happens here, happens. Got Jalen Guyton. Did he take Julio Jones? I think he did take Julio. Dude. Stop doing that. Paris Campbell's still available, so I think I will take Paris Campbell here. And now we're just waiting. So we finished with 3,200. I was just trying to get to 3,000, and we surpassed that by over 200. I think that's a pretty successful draft. Go ahead and look at some of these other teams. So he's only at 2,700, 2,800, 2,400, 2,600, 2,500. I'm saying, man, 2,500, 2,800 is pretty good. Mysterio. Oh, we're looking at mine right now. Drew, 2,800. One below him, 2,600, 2,300. 2,600 and 2,700. So we're projected to pretty much dominate this league as what I was expecting. 3,200. That's a ton of points. And that could easily be because of the fact that I have 3 quarterbacks on my team. But I think that a lot of teams have 3 quarterbacks. This team has 3 quarterbacks. He's only got 2. He's got 2 as well. Just from a projection standpoint, though, I feel very confident with our ability here. So best ball. Yep. Looking here at my team, finally, we have Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, and Mac Jones as our quarterbacks. Love that. Antonio Gibson, Cordell Patterson, Rashad Penny, Chase Edmonds, James Robinson, and Hassan Haskins as our running backs. I think that there's a ton of ceiling here and not really that bad of a floor. Looking over here at the wide receivers, we have Deebo Samuel, Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Parker, OBJ, and Paris Campbell. Very high ceiling at the receiving core and a pretty low floor. OBJ being a free agent right now adds a ton of versatility as to whether or not he will even be playing this season, but if he does, I love to have him on my team. You have Travis Kelce and Hunter Henry as our tight ends, and we are projected for 3,200. So that's going to do it for today's episode. As always, if you like the content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, helps me out a ton, but I'll catch you in the next one. See you.